Back on this Tuesday, it's also World Autism Day, and in observance, Western Mass News reporter Reagan Lokri has more on how awareness and resources for those on one spectrum and their families have evolved over the years.
In honor of World Autism Day Tuesday, April 2nd, Western Mass News caught up with Gina Koss, the executive director of Sunshine Village, a local agency that provides services and resources for people with disabilities, including those with autism. Koss tells us the care and world climate for those on the spectrum has positively evolved over the past few decades.
I think the journey really has been from awareness to acceptance to appreciation. People now know somebody who is on the autism spectrum, or maybe 15 or 20 years ago that wasn't the case. And once you know somebody, and you love somebody, and it just increases that appreciation of who they can be and all that they can do for us.
Based on research from Autism Speaks and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, in 2023, 1 in 36 children in the United States had autism, which is up from the previous rate of 1 in 44, whereas for adults, 1 in 45 have autism. And autism prevalence is lower among white children than other racial and ethnic groups. According to Autism Speaks and the CDC, these changes in statistics reflect an improvement in outreach, screening, and destigmatization of autism diagnosis in minority communities. In honor of World Autism Day, Sunshine Village provided Western Mass News with a video introducing us to one of their members, Louis Chevalier.
I love to spend time with my family and friends, and I love to make music. I sing, I write, I produce, and I make my own beats. Because music is such a huge part of my life, and I'm proud of what I do, and I love going to Sunshine Village.
We also got a chance to speak with Noel Milan, who explains how autism has touched him and his family.
When my nephew was first diagnosed with autism, it was a little bit challenging. It very was, but with this very much of a support, we do love and cherish him every day.